Good morning students. So in this video we are going to discuss about our next disease, that is ascariasis. So this ascariasis, it is a human disease. It is a human disease caused by parasitic roundworm. Parasitic roundworm, that is known as Ascaris lumbricoides. Ascaris lumbricoides. Now, this ascariasis, in case of ascariasis, the infection occurs due to swallowing of food, that is contaminated by eggs of ascaris. So this ascaris, it is a human disease and it is caused by a roundworm. That roundworm responsible for causing ascariasis is the Ascaris lumbricoides, and this lumbricoids, it enters in human body due to or along with the food. That food is contaminated by the eggs of ascaris. Now, once this roundworm, it enters in human body, after that it reaches to the small intestine. So after entering in human body, the ascaris reaches to small intestine, or even you can say intestine. It reaches to intestine, where the larva hatches out from eggs. So once this ascaris, it enters in human body, it reaches to our small intestine. In small intestine, the larva hatches out from eggs, and after the larva hatches out from eggs, then this larva penetrates through our gut wall. And it moves to lungs through bloodstream. Now, when this larva hatches out from egg, then this larva penetrates through epithelial lining or through gut wall, and it moves to lungs through bloodstream. Further, from lungs, the larva enters into alveoli. It enters into alveoli which are present in lungs, and from alveoli the larva moves to the bronchioles, the bronchi, and reaches to trachea. From trachea, this larva is cuffed up. So this larva is cuffed up from trachea into pharynx, and from pharynx it is again swallowed through oesophagus, stomach, and finally it again reaches to the intestine. Now, when this alveoli, it enters into lungs, from lungs it enters into alveoli, and then it moves through the respiratory system, that is through bronchioles, bronchi, it reaches to the trachea, and from trachea it is cuffed up, and again it is swallowed down through our digestive system, that is through esophagus and stomach, and again it reaches to the intestine. Now, during this time period, this larva, it develops into mature adult, and the life of this adult in case of human beings is near about 1 to 2 years. The life of one adult is 1 to 2 years. That means the human beings continue to be infected by this Ascariasis disease throughout their life. And now we will study the symptoms of this disease. So, symptoms of Ascariasis includes, that is, the first symptom is inflammation of body organs. In what is inflammation? During inflammation, the redness and the swelling occurs in the infected organs. The second is enlargement of liver and spleen occurs. So the first symptom is inflammation of our body organs. The second symptom is enlargement of liver and spleen. The third symptom is internal bleeding occurs. So when this Ascaris larva moves through our respiratory and digestive system, it destroys our epithelial linings of different body organs and it causes the internal bleeding. The fourth symptom is fever, and the fifth symptom is anemia. So these are the symptoms of Ascariasis, that is the inflammation of body organs. The second is enlargement of liver and spleen. The third is internal bleeding. The fourth is fever, and the fifth is anemia. Now come to the diagnosis of Ascariasis. So this Ascariasis disease, it is diagnosed accidentally. When it is diagnosed accidentally when the patient passes the Ascaris eggs. The Ascaris worm it is. The Ascaris worms either in stools or during vomiting. So when the patient accidentally passes the Ascaris worms either through stools or during vomiting, only that time this Ascariasis disease gets diagnosed. Now we will study some preventive measures of this disease. The prevention of this disease includes, that is, first one, that is use of cleaned washroom facilities. The second preventive measure includes the safe excreta discharge And the third includes preventing food from dirt and soil. So these are the three preventive measures for the ascariasis, that is use of clean washroom facilities, safe excreta discharge, and preventing food from dirt and soil. Further, this ascariasis disease, it can be treated. So the treatment includes certain ascaricidal drugs such as, these drugs are albendazole, mebendazole, and serotonin. So these are the drugs, that is ascaricidal drugs, which are used for the treatment of this ascariasis disease. Now we will study about next disease, that is elephantiasis or filariasis. So elephantiasis, it is a disease that is caused by helminth, and the helminth which is responsible for causing this disease, it is Vaucheria. Now there are two species of this Vaucheria which are responsible for causing this elephantiasis disease. The one is known as Vaucheria bancrofti and the other is known as Vaucheria malai. So these two species of Vaucheria are responsible for causing elephantiasis, and this elephantiasis disease, it is also known as filariasis. Now how the infection occurs by this Vaucheria bancrofti. So once this Vaucheria bancrofti helminth, it enters in human body, then it is responsible for causing the chronic inflammation of our body organs. So this filarial worms, that is Vaucheria, it is responsible for causing chronic inflammation of our body organs, in which these Vaucheria, they stays for many years. Now these worms, that is Vaucheria, it is basically responsible for infecting our lower limbs and genital organs, and these worms are transmitted from an infected person to non-infected person through blood feeding arthropods. These blood feeding arthropods includes, that is our black flies and female mosquitoes. Now come to the symptoms of this disease. So the symptoms of this disease, because this disease includes the chronic inflammation of our body organs. So the first symptom is thickening of our skin and the underlying tissues which are present below our skin, along with the abdominal pain. So these are the three symptoms of elephantiasis, that is thickening of skin and underlying tissue, and the next is abdominal pain. Now the treatment of this disease usually includes the filaricidal drugs such as the albendazole and the doxycycline. These are the drugs which are used for the treatment of this disease. Now our next disease is ringworms, and this ringworms, it is basically a type of skin disease usually caused by certain fungi. These fungi which are responsible for causing this ringworm, it includes the microsporum, the trichophyton and the epidermophyton fungi. So the fungi responsible for causing this ringworm are microsporum, the trichophyton and epidermophyton. Usually these fungi, they are responsible for attacking the different parts of our body that may include our skin, our nails and scalp. This scalp is our skin that is present between our two fingers, that is this region, it is known as scalp. So basically these fungi are responsible for attacking on different body parts of human beings, that may be the skin, the nails or the scalp region, and on these regions this fungi causes the dry and scaly lesions. They are responsible for causing the dry and scaly lesions on skin nails and the scalp region. Further, these ringworms, they are acquired by human beings either from soil or by using the objects which are used by the infected person. So these fungi, they enters in human body by either from the soil or from the objects which are used by the infected body. So these ringworms are acquired from either from soil or by using the objects that are used by the infected person. Further, the symptoms of this ringworm, it includes the itching and redness at the infected site. The itching and redness at the site of infection. And this preventive measures of this ringworm includes the avoid sharing of objects with infected person. We should not share any object, any cloth or anything, any utensil with some infected person. Otherwise, the ringworms or these fungi, it may come up to your body. Secondly, washing clothes and hands with fungicidal soaps. So we must use the fungicidal soaps for washing our hands and for washing our clothes. Third, we must avoid touching to the pets because these pets are usually the carriers of these fungi which are responsible for causing ringworms. So these are the three preventive measures, that is avoid sharing objects or utensils or clothes with infected person. Second, washing clothes and hands with fungicidal soaps. And third, avoid touching to the pets because these pets are carriers of these fungi which causes the ringworm in human beings. Basically, these ringworms are the round white colored patches or lesions which are formed on our skin. So the treatment of this ringworm includes some antifungal drugs that may include the drugs like the miconazole, the ketoconazole and the clotrimazole. So these are the three drugs, that is antifungal drugs, which are used for the treatment of ringworms. Now, so the symptoms basically includes, that is the itching and redness at the site of infection. These ringworms, they affect our skin, our nails and scalp region. Scalp is the region between our two fingers. And on these areas, these fungi causes the dry and scaly lesions. We can prevent this disease by avoiding the sharing of objects with infected person, by washing hands or clothes with fungicidal soaps, and by avoiding touching to the pets. Thank you, students.